Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good evening. My name is FAEEZ bin HAIRUDDIN. Today our group is gonna present about engineering survey for our course Building Information Modeling and Data Management. Okay, so for our group consists of 5 people, which is AZRULHAKIM bin ZAMRI, me myself, HAIKHAL FAEEZ bin HAIRUDDIN, MUHAMAD RUHAIZAD bin RAMLI, SITI NURSYAMIRA binti SALLEH and SUHAILA binti ISMAIL. Okay, our content for our presentation is first the introduction of engineering survey, ERD and ICT, the pre-entity relationship diagram, the next the complete entity relationship diagram, and last the information and communication that involved in the engineering survey. Okay, for introduction, what is exactly the engineering survey is? Engineering survey is process to collect, analyze and manage the global spatial infrastructure. They design, develop and operate systems for collecting and analyzing spatial information about the land, the ocean, natural resource and man-made features. Okay. Engineering survey is first and foremost process of construction as it is the foundation of any construction. Okay, next I will pass the presentation to next presenter AZRULHAKIM.
Next, for the entity relationship diagram, or also known as ERD. ERD is the conceptual database design that describes data as entities, attribute and relationship. Particular attention is paid to the relationship because they represent the interactions between entities and require special treatment in database and application development. And then for the information and communication technology, or also known as ICT in surveying, to obtain more or accurate result, various technology was used to assist the surveying process, implying the use of modern computing processes. And then I will explain briefly about our pre-ERD. As you can see, we have 12 entities, which are client, project, local authorities, topographic surveying, control surveying, land surveying, engineering surveying, road surveying, construction surveys, earthwork, report, and finally construction. In this pre-ERD, it also contains relationship, which will be further explained by RUHAIZAD.
Next, I will be presenting the complete entity relation diagram, or also known as ERD for surveying field. The complete ERD must achieve 4 criteria. The first criteria is must have the entity. As been explained by AZRULHAKIM, we have altogether 12 entities for this ERD. Next, we must have attributes. Attributes can be defined as characteristic for each entity, which means all these 12 entities will have their own attributes. For example, the entity client may have the attributes ID client, name, city, postcode, telephone number, and email address. Next, the third criteria is relationship between entities. The type of relationship will be presented by the line between the entities. The best way to describe this criteria is based on example. So the easiest example on this ERD of our ERD project is the relationship between client and project. As you can see, we need to think logically how many projects that can be offered by a client. So a client may not offer any project, which means 0 number. A client may offer a project, which means one number. And next, a client may offer 2 or more projects. So the maximum number that a client can offer the project is 2 or more, which means a client can offer more projects. So the same goes with the relationship between project and client. Many projects is offered by a client. So that's all for the relationship. The fourth criteria is the name. The name for the relationship is used to read the ERD more easily. So, for example, a client offer more project, and more project is offered by a client. So next, I will pass this presentation to
So for Internet of Things, which is IoT, we use SurveyCAD. SurveyCAD is a plugin or add-on software to AutoCAD or ZWCAD software, which has been designed in accordance with the needs and output of survey work, especially in the survey work environment in Malaysia. There are tons of benefits of using this software, and one of them is faster provision of data, and we can also make the process of making contour line will become easier. Other than that, we can also do the longitudinal profile graphs, cross-section graph, 2D surface analysis. We also can manage the topography data. Also, we can do as-built survey as piling point, and we can also use this software to calculate the volume and area of cut and fill for our surveying. Next, in surveying, we use drone as our Industrial Revolution 4.0. In technological terms, a drone is an unmanned aircraft. Essentially, a drone is a flying robot that can be remotely controlled or fly autonomously through software-controlled flight plans in their embedded systems, working in conjunction with onboard sensors and GPS. GPS is actually one of the systems that we use in surveying, but that will be explained by Suhaila later. Next, we will look for the usage of the drone. So first thing first, the drone is used for progress tracking and communication. Other than that, we use drone for the pre-construction and the site planning. And last but not least, we also use drone for our safety, which we will be monitoring the productivity and the accountability on the site of our surveying project. Next, I will pass my slide to Suhaila.
So now we move on to the system used in surveying field. So in surveying field, we use GPS, or also known as Global Positioning System. It is a space-based satellite navigation system that provides location and time information in all weather conditions anywhere on Earth. So by using GPS, we can determine the coordinate of certain part of the Earth. And for the benefits, it provides surveying and mapping data of the highest accuracy, since we can eliminate some error occurred during conventional surveying. Second, the data collection is much faster than conventional surveying, as we don't need to set up the equipment. And lastly, it reduces the amount of equipment and labor required. Next is database used in surveying field. So in surveying, we use Autodesk Civil 3D. This software is created for civil engineering design and documentation that supports computer-aided design and also building information modeling workflow. So this software is used to help organize project data, create and analyze surface, and also networks. Second, it is used as shared location for survey data, as the data is kept outside of the drawing. So it is the surveyor to share their data with other surveyor. And next, it controls how data is processed into point, line work, and also figures. And lastly, it allows surveyor to add or remove site data as the site may change in the future. So that's all from our group. Thank you for listening.